Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus coming to you live once again. Today I'm going to talk to you for a moment on a group called Q. Maybe some of you have heard of them, and perhaps many of you haven't. I have only recently come into knowledge of Q. And what I have been hearing about Q, I have to come and tell you to be careful. This is just another con game that is being played on the American people. It's like the Republicans saying something to you and the Democrats saying something to you. It's like black people saying something to you and white people saying something to you. It's like Americans saying something to you and Russians saying something to you. It's the same diabolic differences. Now, what I have understood is that Q is trying to say that the America that you understand is nothing but a crook. It's been nothing but a crook all along. You know that. I know that. Anytime you can see America treating its black people the way they do, treating other minorities the way they do, and how people suffer in this country can only be a crooked country. So that's nothing new to you and I. Some of us try to hide it and act like it's not, but the reality of it is that it is. Now Q wants you to come out, wants to come to you and say, yes, what I have just shared with you right here is true. But there are good people. Now, just to get you hooked up on good people, they used a reference to 61 when Kennedy was made president of the United States. Kennedy left a message to the American people about some of the crookedness that's going on in this country. And he was killed for many reasons, and that perhaps was one of the reasons as well. And so Q wants to identify this corrupt government as the government that killed Kennedy. And he wants to say that this corrupt government is the government that divided blacks and whites, that divided men and women, that divided the old against young, that divided American against other people. Now, this is what they want you to believe. This is what Q is saying. Q is saying that the good people are out now, and what their plans is to do, or their plan is to round up all of these people who Q says are crooks, or whoever NSA has identified as being crooks, or whoever the other party doesn't like. That's what you call dictators do. The other parties they don't like, you put them all on a list and say you're going to arrest them and make the people think that you're doing them a favor because you got them so convinced now that these other people were so crooked. So this is what Q is trying to convince the American people now, that Obama and all his people, Clinton and his people and all those, they're going to be arrested. They're going to be arrested because they were so crooked. Now, they didn't say anything about these corporation execs. They didn't say anything about people who got all of this power. They didn't say anything about that. They're talking about people who are in their way. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm not trying to say that Q is wrong. I'm sure Q is wrong. How can they be right? They're saying that Donald Trump was that person. How in the Donald Trump didn't just start being scrutinized and called a devil after he won? Donald Trump has been called devils for years, even before he started thinking about presidency. He was called devils not by what he was saying alone, but by the way he was acting. They call him a devil when he tried to get those black kids in New York who was accused of a crime that they didn't do. He wanted them killed because he assumed that they did it. All of the hate that he and the divisiveness that he has created since he has been in office in 2 years, and Q wants you to think that Donald Trump is an enemy of the evil people because he represents good. Now, if you buying into that lie, ain't nobody gonna say you no bridge because you ain't got no money to pay for it. You ought to be ashamed of yourself if you buy into that lie. You see Donald Trump get up on that television and lie to you every day. And they want you to believe that Donald Trump is from God. You even got the evangelicals, and fundamentalists, Christians, saying that this demon, this liar, this homemonger, who they call him this, is a gift from God. Well, what about all those preachers in these thousands of churches around here who've been teaching people all of their lives about God? What are they good for? In the statement that they say, when they can assume that Donald Trump is a gift from God, then I want you to know that every white person that stands up in a pulpit and tells you something about God and then affirms that Donald Trump, now you already know you have been deceived. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not going to get caught up on that bandwagon about who's right, them then, or you now. As far as I'm concerned, all of you are wrong. It doesn't make any difference. Every last one of you are wrong. There's only one way. It has nothing to do with powerful people. Nobody's powerful. You might be a crook, and people will submit to you. That's your power. You don't have any real power. All I want to say to the people of America and the people of the world is that there's one power, and that power was responsible for this earth being here. You standing up in your room right now, in a house, that power is responsible for that. That house is sitting on land, that power is responsible for that. You got clothes on your back, some food in your refrigerator on the table, that power is responsible for that. If you stand on the street with a sign begging, I want you to know that the power of the world is responsible for that. But I want you to know to fix this thing has nothing to do with Republicans and Democrats. Has nothing to do with black and white. Has nothing to do with some Q talking about some evil people then and some good people now. All of that is a bunch of bull. There's one way to fix this. And anybody telling you anything else is a damn lie. This earth was made and prepared that every individual on it can live as if they are in heaven. And the only thing that would stop you, because you got to work, and you don't mind working because you've been given great gifts. You've been given, especially those of you who already know what they are. Some of you got them, but you just don't know what they are because your limit has been set before you, even before you knew what to start thinking about. But what I want you to know, ladies and gentlemen, is that the way that the master designed it is so everybody got a job that gives them the greatest peace. You can't get no better peace than what you're doing every day gives you your joy. Basketball playing, singing, dancing, digging ditches, building buildings, teaching schools, curing cancer, all these kinds of things. These are the kinds of things that done by people who were chosen to do these things. This gives them their greatest joy. And they do the things that needs to be done. And everybody, regardless of what your gig is, regardless of what your job is you commit yourself to it. And it plays a role in the creative process of all the goods and services that the people say are essential for their survival. It not only does that, it opens up the doors for other things like recreation, travels, the luxury of the earth, to go into space, to see all kinds of things, cut down some of your workload, start doing some new kinds of work, some new creativities. This, my friends, and not a single individual is without food, clothing, shelter, education from the womb to the tomb, health care, your whole life, and a gig to make sure none of the stuff runs out. And if it does, it's because God cut something down in the creative process of the earth. And if God cuts something down with the creative process of the earth, he replaces it with something, and he engenders some individual to recognize what is going on and qualifies them to make it a public knowledge. And then you work with it and do the things that it was designed to do. That is the only way. The only way. If any individual is suffering from a lack in any nation, and somebody come up and tell you anything about something that they got to offer, they are a goddamn lie. There's only one truth here, and that's God. Only one truth, God. Because God cares about every last one of us. Now, no black man cares about every last one of us. No white man cares about every last one of us. No American cares about everybody. No person in the other part of the world cares about everybody. Nobody cares about everybody on earth but the power that put us here. The power that put us here. I didn't say your mother, your daddy. I said the power that put us here. That's the only power that cares about us. And that power made it possible so that we can live as though we are in heaven. But just in case you didn't want it, the power gave you an opposite choice. And that opposite choice is what we are experiencing every day. And now you got a new liar called Q coming out trying to start something else. It's nothing but a damn lie. And if you want anything righteous, you treat God righteous by treating God's creation righteous. That's making sure that nobody suffers from anything that God has prepared for them not to suffer from. And ladies and gentlemen, that's my message to you about Q. Q is just another trick I don't care how they try to set it up. It's just another trick. Another trick. And ain't but one game played that leads to righteousness. And that's God. That's love. And you who follow love. Q trying to say the world is filled with crooks. Yes, all these systems are filled with crooks because you profit from it. And those who consider themselves not crooks are powerless because they're afraid. Afraid. You got crooks and fear. Crooks and fear. Crooks and fear. Put your mind on God. God will open up your mind and show you the secrets of life and free you from the fear of death. Thank you.